today we're here with Lucas from Holding Absence, Kadeem from Loathe. How are you guys feeling?
Feeling good, man. Showtime, Nottingham.
I feel quite generic at this point because you've been on tour for a little bit now. So how is tour so far?
It's actually so sick. Better than we ever could have expected. Like, every night's been insane, mad support. And yeah, I couldn't be happy, really.
Yeah, dude, for real, exactly the same. I think a cool thing as well is like if either band kind of has like a smaller town that they're not like as big in as another one, it's kind of like, you know, there's two bands to kind of like cover each other's asses a little bit. So it's been really, really good, man. Every night's just been sick.
Yeah, so obviously the main reason for this tour is because of the split you like just put out.
Yep.
Very good as well. Like, honestly, probably one of my favourite EPs like to come out this year.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, honestly, like
2 months. So.
Yeah, honestly, I know I'm strong contender though, seriously. But obviously you lot have been sort of like on the underground like sort of music scene, like rising up for a while. Obviously both with Sharp Turn. So how long has this like split been in the works? When did it come about and like how?
To be honest, I can't remember how long it's been in
I don't think it's been that long, really.
No.
It kind of. It doesn't feel like it.
Oh, then again, it doesn't feel like.
It feels like we were talking about it happening, and then all of a sudden we were just doing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like oh, this is happening soon, and then long wait, and then it happens. It's just kind of came into fruition. Yeah.
But we both like love each other's bands, so it's very much. It was always something. Not the particular idea, but just to kind of involve ourselves with each other a lot more was something we always wanted to do. So.
Yeah, so like not many bands are doing that kind of thing anymore. Yeah. So like
that's kind of why we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Do you feel, I think last split I ever properly heard was band. I think it was ages ago now. I can't remember when it came out. I think it was Stick to Your Guns and Story So Far.
Yep.
They did something like that ages ago. That was all right.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago as well. But we were saying in an interview the other day actually, like they didn't tour that. You know. It was
like
very much
there.
just like throwing a couple of songs out. So with us, like we've made sure that we've like really made it like a genuine like big thing. You know.
Yeah.
We've tried our best to make this is as one quite a, you know, an important part of our band's
career.
career.
Yeah, definitely.
One
thing I was like hoping for as well. I was a little bit disappointed, but I was hoping you would like feature on like each other's tracks. I know,
you know,
because it's good.
We have to do it now. We have to make it. We've got to do
a
it.
part two. Like,
We've got to do it.
No, like the first singles were really good, and I was hoping it would be like a little bit something.
Yeah, like because. It was tough because we had this conversation where like originally we were gonna, because we got a song called Heaven Knows, and originally that was gonna be on the split, and obviously there's a scream part at the end, and kind of in the back of our heads we were like, you know, maybe Kadeem could do it or whatever, but like I think it's a weird one because like I think because we said this the other day as well, like it's kind of typical of both of our bands not to compromise our music though. You know, I feel like we're both very self-assured musicians, and to kind of bend to, you know, kind of expectations is kind of against what we would normally want to do anyway. Yeah. So if anything, it's a bit of a statement of intent by not letting each band touch each other's music and really like just having
quite literally a split.
Literally, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, it's purely you guys have your style. You know, you lot have your own, but obviously it would have been nice and everything because like there are a few bit like heavy parts you guys have, and obviously some clean sections you guys. So maybe you're screaming on some of their like melodic stuff.
I mean, probably
who knows? We are going to be bands.
We're close friends, so we're always together, you know.
Yeah, totally.
But you're both like sort of kind of your music's quite different. You're quite soft, you're quite heavier, but like the same music scene you're both involved in, and people seem to gravitate like towards you. So maybe people who wouldn't normally listen to heavy stuff will listen to you.
Yep.
People not with the heavy stuff. Yeah, vice versa basically.
Yeah,
do you
most
feel like
definitely. Like I feel like right now there's this new like kind of uprising group of bands. There's like us, Parting Gift, Holding Absence. We don't all sound exactly the same, but like we all have the same vision, the same idea, and like we're pushing music how we want to do it. It's kind of like the new age of internet bands, you know what I mean? It just feels good that like
there's more bands out there because I think the key thing underneath it all is like the sincerity of our music, you know, and like I think people could kind of see through genres quite a lot, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like, you know, I probably know more people who like La Dispute and the Smiths than I do people who like, you know, two metalcore bands, you know what I mean? Because those two bands, as a million miles apart as they are, like underneath there is this just like this message, you know what I mean? And I think that's kind of how we're so kind of interlinked.
I guess like
underneath the music, there's
people like we've gotten to the point now, I think, where people don't really want the same. Do you think it's not like say 2006 or something anymore? Like everyone's like doing the metalcore thing.
Anymore. There's nothing's new anymore. You know, everybody's heard metalcore, everybody's heard. You know, so you need to just find your own way of doing something new and delivering it in a way that nobody else can deliver it. You know what I mean? And that's why I respect Loathe so much. I think like for what they do, it's like. It's funny because people label them like metalcore all the time, you know what I mean? And I always see their eyes roll, but it's like there's more to it than that, you know what I mean? And if you truly understand the band, then you can totally see that, you know what I mean?
Likewise. Thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, do you feel like, obviously on paper, you two releasing the split together, obviously with your different audiences, on paper it should open some gates for you guys. It's like new audiences. Do you feel like that's actually happened then?
Yeah, I've seen it on this tour. This tour, like I've seen people who've been like screaming every word for Holding Absence, and then kind of just watching when we're playing. But they're the ones afterwards who will come over and be like, "I've never heard of you before. Checked out Holding Absence. Checked out you guys, and I'm in love. Like I'm in love with the music. Blah blah blah." Do you know what I mean?
And we really respect that as well, because we're, as musicians, we're quite we are open-minded people, and I think, you know, you owe it to yourself to be open-minded about music. You know what I mean? You could be cancelling out some of your favourite bands if you were too cool to bother listening to them. You know, so we've played shows, and like Kadeem said the other day, like there was a dude in the crowd singing every word wearing a Holding Absence hoodie. You know what I mean? To Loathe set. So it's like it's cool to think that there is a crossover and like an open-mindedness. You know?
As far as the track listing for the EP goes, because obviously I know Everything was you guys had that before.
Yeah,
it was a lot more of like a softer version.
Do you know that was the first song we ever wrote? Yeah.
Really?
So that's a very old song. That one. Yeah.
God! Like, I think you released like a live version. I think like a year ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So obviously, but for Saint Cecilia and like White Hot and Servant, were they specifically written for the split, or were they like sort of B-sides that you kind of had knocking about?
Yeah, well, there were some parts that we had knocking about, but most of it was just like organically being in the studio, just vibing off each other, you know what I mean? So like, because we want, like, for this split EP, we kind of wanted to give a taste into what we were delving into for our next release.
Yeah.
So just kind of like putting out there like what's next basically for Loathe and for Holding Absence.
I think with us, because like it's no secret we're working towards an album at the moment, and it was quite an interesting one because we were in the middle of writing the album when the split kind of became a reality. So with Saint Cecilia, we kind of like had to step back from the album and be like, right, let's write a song that we want to put out but wouldn't really fit on the album, and it just kind of, it was just quite natural really. So
was it, so would you say it was quite like a rush sort of process for you guys then, for like track mainly?
Do you know, it's funny because like it wasn't a hard song to write, you know what I mean? Like it really just kind of rolled off the tongue for us, which is some of the best songs of all time are written in a second, you know what I mean? So it was an interesting one for us.
So you say not too much time because obviously you try and focus on the
album.
Like,
yeah. It was just weird, kind of being in two minds and having to be like, right, this wouldn't fit on the album, but it's kind of what we want to do right now, you know.
So I want to talk about obviously the tour you're on right now. The bill each day, which I'm loving at the moment, has a different bill of some like the best up and coming UK bands. There's kind of like a squad of you guys. And was it like you guys who actually like pick the supports and like do you get full creative control over that?
Yeah, pretty much. We just, as you said, wanted to kind of showcase all the new up and coming bands because, you know, as I said before, I feel like they're part of this new wave of bands that are kind of just doing it their way. And
yeah, because we were saying like it's funny how many of these good bands on this tour that you'd literally just go home and listen to and like get into like that, you know. And like I think similar to what we were saying earlier with us and Parting Gift and like, you know, bands like Modern Era, and like I feel like there's just a huge unity you know, underlying all of our music, and like we just kind of wanted to showcase as many bands as we could really, and especially we're friends with a lot of these people as well, so you know.
Yeah, the good thing I like it's like almost feels like, because you guys are like spread out across the entirety of the UK, totally. Each one of the bands, so it's almost like a local music scene because you're all like pally and
totally
stuff,
do,
but like on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
so
of course, man.
I feel like they have that kind of attitude in Europe, and I'm like quite happy like we're now actually like, adopting some of that. And so speaking of Europe as well, you guys are going over there.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure, is it your first time?
Yeah, it's our first
time. You guys have been there before.
Yeah, we've been there like 2-3 times before. So.
Yeah,
two times.
Yeah, but together though, like
yeah, dude, it's gonna be interesting because obviously this tour has been, well, it has been a co-headliner. We've been rotating pretty much every night, or you know, and like, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one in Europe because half of me's worried because we've never been there, and then the other half of me is super excited because we've never been there, you know. And like we get tweets really often like from European people kind of saying like, come to Germany, blah blah blah, and like so part of me's nervous, part of me's excited, man. So it should be good.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, a better name for this tour would have been like the Best of Britain tour because
totally
like it sounds like pretty gay as fuck, but it kind of is true. Like at the same time, like I think tonight is Modern Era and Catch Fire. Catch Fire. I thought like Lifetime was going to be on this day. I was pretty disappointed, but that's tomorrow.
You know,
like.
It's sick as well because Lifetime are another one of those bands who like we've known years. You've known them years as well. Like Tom's like. It used to drive and
it's so cool because like half of these bands we're talking about now we've known for so long, being in different bands, and to like watch everyone now stepping up and like fully doing their thing is just sick.
And
Like,
people appreciating it as well. It's not a case of like, check out our awesome mates, you know, like they're good and nobody cares. It's like people care about these bands now, and it's just like it's really cool. It's quite inspiring, to be honest, to just see the UK scene at such a, you know, an impressive kind of high right now. You know.
Yeah, I think some of the bands like you guys, for example, as well. I think you're at like a comfortable point now. So obviously you've been in local bands and stuff, keep rising. I think Modern Era, you know, in Archives. Lifetime, was it Lock and Key? I think it was. Yeah, like those guys. So like.
Yeah, you're right though. I feel like a lot of these bands are culminations of other bands.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like we're all at quite a mature level as well when you look at all these bands. You know, I feel like we've all learned our lessons, and you know. Yeah.
It's like the experience, and it's all leading up to like this like one bit.
Yeah.
So hopefully like Holding Absence and Loathe, this will be like your way to like the top fully.
Yeah. Quite literally.
But I want to also talk about both of you getting signed to Sharp Tone as well. Like around that time, it's obviously a while ago now since you announced it, but like how in your head when you got the call, because when Sharp Tone obviously first got announced, it's kind of like it's pretty stacked. You had like Attila, I'm trying to think who else at the top of my head like fully got, was it Don Broco?
Miss May I?
Yes.
And you?
Miss May I, yeah. It was. I think we were the first ones to officially sign to them. Then it was Miss May I. So like as we got signed to them, all these bands that I've been listening to since I was like 16 started getting announced that they were signing as well, and I was just like, yo, no way. This is insane.
Was it like a weird like risk in a way to like sign to a label that didn't have any other bands?
Yeah, absolutely, but like they share
the belief
vision,
they share,
yeah,
totally, dude. That's cool because like I've been a big fan of Loathe for ages, and like and obviously Holding Absence wasn't signed to Sharp Tone for quite a long time, so like when it got announced the Loathe were on, it was just like, what the hell? Like how, you know,
you
and
guys
like
thinking maybe emails like, please.
no, well, this is the thing is like, you know, our relationship with Sharp Tone on Holding Absence's end is really cool because like we never kind of like, you know, we hate to compromise our integrity, and like I'd hate to kind of be sat there like poking people with sticks, like come on, like sign it, you know what I mean? So like, and Sal came to us, and like the dude from Sharp Tone, and so like I feel like the same with you guys as well. I feel like we have such a pure relationship with them because like the belief was there from the first word said, you know what I mean? There wasn't, oh go on, I'll listen to your stupid demo, you know. It was like he'd come to us and really shown belief, you know what I mean? So
yeah, would you say like as far as them being like obviously they're on the corporate side and everything, would you say like as far as giving you like full creative control, like do you reckon they're like quite friendly to you guys then?
Yeah, fully. Well, when you think about it, man, like we're currently touring a split, you know what I mean? That doesn't maybe really make sense for either of our bands to do. You've just released an album, we're about to release an album. On like a corporate level, I mean, you just kind of say like, let's just push for another album to, you know, for you, and let's start album 1 to Hold Absence. And like, you know, when you look at the tour as well, we've had the freedom to, you know, pick all the bands that are playing with us, you know what I mean? And to be honest, it's mind-blowing how much Sharp Tone believe in both of our bands to literally just say, look, you know, we trust the vision, like, you know, within reason, we'll make it happen, basically. So
obviously, do you, as far as like the European leg of the tour as well, like what's the deal with that? Like the situation, is it just like local promoters maybe sorting that out?
That's
or?
A bit,
I
Europe
think
was a
it
bit
is.
different just because obviously we're not, you know,
obviously.
there, so God knows what's going to happen with it. But I've seen quite a few tweets about like good local bands playing and stuff, so like I'm excited about it.
We'll hope you guys like enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Holding Absence.
Are you staying for the show?
Yeah, obviously, man. Obviously,
okay,
I'm looking
sweet,
forward.
sweet.
I've been looking forward to this like for ages, man. I cannot wait, man. I've seen you guys at Macmillan Fest last year.
Wow,
Actually,
man,
yeah, I
sick,
saw there.
yeah.
I was right at the front for that. I made sure I got through the way, man. I think I'm just missed you. Like I was away. Like, I think I was out of the UK. Like when you're on your last like headline. I think it was.
So this will be the first time you've seen us?
Yeah, first time seeing you lot.
Sick.
And I'm actually stoked to hear like White Hot Live as well, because like, I've fully been vibing that track for like ages.
Yes.
But I think the last I missed you guys, was it Harbringer you had?
Yeah.
I think I was going to go to the Northampton day of that because it was like the closest to, because we're from Leicester.
It was in like the tiniest venue. It was.
Oh, I remember
basically.
Did Eric drum in that night? Was that? No. What?
Yeah, no, I think he did.
Yeah,
no,
I think
that
Ash
was the
went,
night
didn't he?
after.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember what happened, but Eric ended up playing one of the songs on drums, or guitars.
Yeah.
He just got on drums, and it was like
disgustingly talented.
cool. Yeah, he's insanely talented. But yeah, no, the Northampton venue was mad
For
weird.
you, Roadmender, was it like? It's pretty. I think it's like
Was it
200
Roadmender
cap.
you played?
Was it Roadmender?
No,
Roadman's quite big.
I'm pretty sure it was like a pub with like. Do you know when you go to a pub and you see like a like a dad band playing on the tiniest stage. Stage about the same size as this table.
With like a glittery curtain in the background.
Yeah, but it was actually such a sick show.
Yeah,
it was so
it was
sick.
nice and intimate though. Like,
Yeah.
it went off. Cheers for talking to us, guys. Yeah, let you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Be sure to subscribe. Check out crowdedmusic.co.uk for more